Ripple is getting some major attention internationally, as well as the crypto market as a whole. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what the IMF just said about Ripple and whether or not you support it, because what they're being named for is very controversial, even inside the crypto space. I'm going to tell you who is saying what about Ripple's blockchain products. Not only that, we have some more news on what is going on in Hong Kong. USDC's CEO Gary Gensler has some interesting perspectives on what is going on in Hong Kong and what it could mean for the rest of the crypto market. I'm also going to be talking about XRP and the price thereof, because there's a little bit of a decoupling going on compared to what Bitcoin and the Bitcoin dominance is doing in the rest of the crypto space. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I think is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, if in fact John Deaton's prediction in that the Ripple versus the SEC case is not going to be resolved until September. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind, and right now on this channel, we are of course covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all of these topics interest you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community, and if you do a couple things, I'd really appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button and watch this video all the way through to the end. Those really are some of the best things you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification icon. That way YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So let's first start by talking about what is going on in Hong Kong, over in China. There's a lot of people now paying attention to what Hong Kong is doing. Just this past month, they've introduced their own regulatory clarity into the digital asset and cryptocurrency space. There are many legislative committees in Hong Kong that have been very pro-crypto, and now they're putting their money where their mouth is and actually putting a framework to the digital asset space, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, you name it. They have now given legal right to different fintech companies, blockchain companies, to offer cryptocurrency trading, investing, and of course, custody services. Now, there's a lot of people looking at Hong Kong. Obviously, Hong Kong is one of the big financial sectors of the world, not just China. But USDC's CEO, Gary Gensler, he's been taking a look at this and been following this just like a lot of other people, and he thinks that this could be huge for many reasons other than the ones I just stated, number one of which is that China could be watching. Hong Kong, of course, is somewhat separate from China. They are governed separately. China, of course, banning cryptocurrency, its usage, its trading for all institutions. Back in 2021, they've done this a number of times. However, they are absolutely keeping an eye on Hong Kong and what is going on. Now, Gary Gensler, among others, have said, listen, if China is watching this, there's already been several different banking institutions and big banks in China that have backed what Hong Kong is doing. So if there's going to be any type of international pressure or pressure from within, especially from the monetary pressures from within, that can speak very loudly to the Chinese government. So that's something that we should all be following, especially since in the United States, there's a lot of regulatory uncertainty, which of course is being done on purpose. And if you follow my channel, you believe that that is from the SEC specifically. So before I get into what else internationally people are talking about Ripple, I wanted to talk about what somebody pointed out in how much institutional money could be coming into the cryptocurrency world just in the United States, or at least representing the United States. And that is all of these different companies like BNY Mellon, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, all filing. Fidelity rumored to be filing for another ETF. Of course, BlackRock just filing for their spot Bitcoin ETF. All of these companies represent about $27 trillion of assets under management that, if any of this would actually go through, get approved by the SEC, get approved by Congress, in some form or fashion, that could very significantly increase the exposure of cryptocurrencies and, of course, its market value, which, of course, some will have more regulatory clarity than others. Bitcoin, of course, having its own regulatory clarity, according to Gary Gensler, but little else for the crypto space. But just let your mind wander for a second and wonder if some of these would actually be approved, and all of these trillions of dollars of companies representing trillions of dollars worth of assets under management begin to put a small percentage of their money into the cryptocurrencies, not just the futures, but the actual spot Bitcoin and spot cryptocurrencies. Well, just imagine if China would go ahead and do the same thing. If Hong Kong would go ahead and do the same thing, which they already are. They've already approved futures-based ETFs, but I imagine it's only a matter of time if they want to become one of the top places in all of Web3 and the entire planet that they're going to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF and bring investors, capital, and talent into Hong Kong, which is exactly what they're going for. Now, of course, there's many other countries that are already pro-crypto. They've already had the frameworks. Their institutional money is already buying in. But when you have these major superpowers like Hong Kong, China, and the United States, all with things up in the air, well, you have to let your mind wander a little bit before you might be able to predict a certain number out of thin air in terms of Bitcoin's value. If you listen to Kathy Wood of ARK Invest, she still says it's going to be $500,000 very soon. Now, keeping with this international information, I want to talk about which institutions, which organizations are talking about Ripple and their fintech products. Now, the IMF, which of course has been notoriously anti-crypto for some time now, were recently talking about their foray into central bank digital currencies, CBDCs as they are known. Now, the XRP ledger, which of course Ripple is using to build many of their fintech products on using the liquidity of XRP, is of course custom made for using things like side chains and allowing different countries and their central banks to create their own central bank digital currencies run on the XRP ledger and the XRP rails. Now, for a lot of people in the crypto space, this is very controversial as central bank digital currencies are seen as controlled money or controllable money or programmable money by the central banks and potentially by their governments. Now, that seems very dangerous, and it very much is. However, in the United States at least, we have some congressmen fighting against it, not necessarily against central bank digital currencies, but against the programmable part and the mandatory part, and not allowing the government to be the one that actually would issue it. So regardless of how that happens around the rest of the world, there's actually many countries in talks with Ripple and their fintech products to run central bank digital currency programs. In fact, some of the most recent ones are India and Montenegro. Both of those are in talks with Ripple about developing their central bank digital currencies. Now, of course, this is somewhat bullish if you believe in the XRP use case that it would save millions, billions, or possibly trillions of dollars for banks because of their major cost savings. In fact, just recently, the chief marketing officer of Volante Technologies was at an EBA Day event, which is a Euro Banking Association event, and he was speaking, and he of course mentioned how promising Ripple's fintech products look because of their major cost savings to the banks that could be using their liquidity. Now, where does that liquidity come from? Well, that of course comes from the on-demand liquidity system that Ripple has put together using XRP, of course, as their rails and as their liquidity. Now, these are some big developments internationally because if you've been following this channel or many others or anything in cryptocurrency, you know the United States is seemingly not very cryptocurrency friendly right now, especially because of the SEC. We expect that to end very soon, according to John Deaton. He expects this case against Ripple to be ended by September. Of course, he thought it was going to be ended in May, and it has not. So that's something we're going to be continuing to follow. And if you want to stay up to date with that as much as possible, make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind community. Also, click the links in the description down below to Twitter. You can follow me there on Twitter. Also, there are links down below to a bunch of people that are covering the SEC versus Ripple case. Several of the lawyers, of course, John Deaton, Jeremy Hogan, and of course, some more that provide incredible information on XRP and its use case. So don't forget to check those out. So as that is all happening in the background, of course, we are looking at the price of XRP because right now it's about 48 cents. And one of the big reasons that it got rejected from about a 50-cent level just recently, even though Bitcoin was continuing to move up, was I found out there was a major sell pressure block right at that level. Hence, in my last video, while I was recording, it was continuing to drop by the penny. It went all the way down to, I believe, about 44 cents at one point, was because of that huge order block. Now, some people are talking about how XRP is trading a little bit differently than the rest of the market right now. Some say there are increased sell pressures, and some others were taking a look at all of the different underlying statistics of what XRP is doing right now, including somebody who took a look at the market value to realized value ratio, which recently tanked. Now, typically when that happens, they consider that a signal or a potential signal for a market bottom, or at least a local bottom, meaning it might not go down any further and it's getting ready to bounce. So we're gonna have to see. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think the price of XRP is going to do for the next couple of weeks. I saw a prediction, 58 cents, that matched up with a 60-cent prediction that I saw a few days ago as well. And both of those predictions were based completely on separate things. We're gonna see if that plays out in the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, I wanna thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.